Welcome to the Grand Review. This is the show where we talk about movies and movie news. We have a special guest today, but first let me get through the first people. She's freaking out. So
yeah, we knew this was coming.
Thanks for joining us. I am your host, the man with no tattoos and probably never any demigod powers, Garrett Ray. And joining me, as always, it's my co-host and good friend, the chicken, Andy Delia.
Well, thank you for at least not calling me the pig.
No, not the pig. No, because what happens?
Respect for Pua.
What I see happen a lot of the time is that you step in here and we've watched a bad movie and you go, and so that's where I'm going with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And joining us
as
a
Garrett.
special guest,
Yes.
first time ever on the podcast. More excited about what we're going to talk about today, probably than anyone
we are
in the entire world. It's Maria, who I never got your last name.
It's Gomez.
Maria Gomez. I knew
Yes.
that. Because Selena.
Exactly.
You're like her.
That's what I say.
Except
That's what I tell
cooler.
everybody.
She's
like Selena Gomez, but like I'm her cool like second cousin from Dominican Republic named Maria.
Nice.
she's my right hand person.
Yeah, so Maria also works here at the theater. I'm the only one here
Yep.
who technically doesn't. So
You used to.
I would.
Your grandfather did.
That's right.
You should come back.
But what would I do?
We
Annoy
need it.
people?
Oh, I
it.
could find a position for you. Trust me.
All right. Well, if you're ever truly desperate enough to need no help at all, but lots of jokes, then I'm in.
Okay, you're in.
Valid.
All right. Well, basically, Maria, this is your first time on the show, but also for people
Yeah.
who haven't
Yeah,
listened
yeah.
before, let's just basically explain how this works. First, we do a spoiler-free review right up front, and we're going to go through and talk about this week's movie in with no specific terms. Generally, we're going to keep it pretty free-flowing, but no spoilers. And then we'll let you know when we get into spoilers, and we'll talk in depth about the movie's themes and specific sequences and yada yada. So
We're pretty upfront about that. See, it's going to be very easy to follow along.
Yeah. And so Andy and I both are, we have a history of explaining where we're coming from. But Maria, since this is your first time, what are some of your favorite movies? Just real quick.
Moana.
Okay.
And The Parent Trap. And anything Nancy Myers, truly.
Anything
Okay.
Nancy Myers. What would be a Nancy Myers? I'm not.
The Parent Trap.
It's
The
complicated.
Holiday. It's complicated.
There's another one that comes to mind too. I just can't. He Said, She Said.
That one.
Okay, that one I really like. That's a cool movie.
I have not seen.
My TikTok bio says mentally in a Nancy Myers movie. I just want to be old with my garden and my dogs living in a beachfront property somewhere. Just
And then Something's Got to Give. That's another
That one.
That's a Nancy
That one's
Myers
good.
film. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's where you're coming from. You like. What would you say is like your favorite?
Chick flicks.
Chick flicks is like generally. Okay. Cool. Is The Parent Trap a chick flick?
Yeah,
Yes.
kinda.
Oh, okay.
It's a family
I
chick
have-
flick.
I have yet to find any woman that doesn't like that film.
Fair enough. Yeah. I'm one of them.
Period.
Okay.
All right. Well, this week we're not talking about The Parent Trap, though.
No.
So before we get too far off topic, we are talking about Moana 2.
Away.
Maria has been singing this to us in the lobby for the last 2 months.
She was like, 'cause she had to get the boat snacks.
Yep.
Bus next.
So basically, we'll go around. I'll go last as per tradition, but also per tradition. Oh my god!
Actually, I'm going to defer. I'm going to let Maria go first.
Oh, you think so? All
Yeah.
right.
Ladies go first.
All right. Well, Maria, then what is your
10 out of 10, no notes. 4 + 4, 8. No crumbs left behind. It was a cinematic masterpiece. I do have some notes, but
But
masterpiece.
That was the most intense look
Okay.
I've ever gotten while someone gave a review in my entire
Oh,
life.
no, I get that on a daily basis.
He's not wrong. LOL.
All right, so 10 out of 10. So good, bad, great, or terrible is our rating scale here. What would you give it? I mean, I think I know.
Great.
but- okay, we got a great. All right, that's
Or
one
you could
great.
do what I did, like with Gladiator. I said beyond great.
You cheated. That's
Yeah,
not
I
allowed.
did.
Okay, if a demigod was like great, then like demigod great. There we go.
Okay.
But
All right.
demigod goddess, great.
Careful there. You're edging up on potentially something we shouldn't be talking about until the spoiler section.
Yeah.
My big queens.
All right, Andy, what do you think?
I thought it was okay.
That's about where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Okay, so generally though, like, is there a particular reason?
I just think like most of these Disney films anymore, and I will say it's better than last year's Wish. Wish was extremely boring to me, but I just think this film just kind of goes along and is more a cash grab than anything else. I don't think it's very inspiring. I don't think it's that an original of a story, and the music is just kind of generic to me. And I think the reason I think this is because if I had not seen Wicked before this, I might think a little better of this film. But Wicked, I think, is just so much better all the way around, even though it's a live action film, not animated. It's very hard to see this and kind of live up to that and go, yeah, this is just okay. And it's a good kid film.
Sure.
But I probably would never watch this again.
Maria has her hand over her face in I can't tell if it's shock or she's trying not to bite him.
I have something to say about what he said, but I'm going to wait.
She's being nice.
Waiting for, you're going to say it after?
Yeah.
Off mic? Fair enough, yeah.
No. Like, it's for I did research.
Okay, all right.
I did research.
Okay, cool.
But it goes on to something that he said about the cash grab part.
I wonder
that
if
I'm
it's
right.
true. Yeah, maybe so. All right, now I want a good clean fight. Nothing below the belt, you two.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
I thought I thought it was good. You know, like I wasn't offended by it. I think there's definitely Maui's song in the first one compared to the one he has in this one. I like the song. I dislike Dwayne Johnson's performance of the song. I'm kind of like, you didn't do another take of that?
At least this is better than Red 1.
Oh yeah, well that's easy to say though because like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is better than Red 1. The If is better than Red 1.
Ooh, that's
well because at the very least If is confusing in how it's bad, and I'm still trying to figure it out, and that's interesting. Red 1 is just boring.
Yeah, it's just garbage.
I've gotten a little more sour on it since we watched it because it's like. How can you be so lazy, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Like, no effort at all.
See, but he produced this too.
He was being great in this
in Moana.
movie.
I'll say, like his performance has so much more passion and just
than
like
Red 1,
trying. In Red 1, it's like you can play stoic without being boring, but he just did not care.
He phoned it in the entire film.
I think it had to do a lot with more of like the cultural backgrounds in Moana, how that has so much like power over his family, like all the cultural stuff. Like maybe that's why like his heart was more into
that.
it.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good point, Maria. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think you can tell that there is that love for these legends and the stories that they're telling there. And you know, I like The Rock when he's trying. More than
but I even like the one that I like Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise is fine.
See, it's a poor man's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes,
sure,
but that's probably why I like it because it's a poor man's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, and like adventure movies are fun, and Moana 2 is definitely it's of that adventure movie kind of feel. It's doing the hero's journey again, which every movie does,
for
but
kids.
It's like
and adults
and. Well,
I have my certified skipper card.
Your certified skipper card?
I'm a certified skipper at Walt Disney World.
Are you actually?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic.
On the Jungle Cruise.
That doesn't
Boat
surprise
number
me.
17, to be exact.
Weird Al has a song about working on the Jungle Cruise.
Oh, really?
He does, yeah. It's all about how he tried to become an actor, and he's like, no, I'm just working on the Jungle Cruise ride.
It'd be better if it was working on the Jaws ride.
Oh gosh, does that even exist anymore? I thought they dismantled it.
It doesn't.
Rip.
What is
Unfortunately.
it now?
They're bringing something with it back, though.
I think that's all rumors, though. I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
No, everything's a rumor until it happens.
But next year's
Valid.
the 50th anniversary of Jaws, so maybe that there is some truth to that.
They'd had to be working on it for like a year already, though. Like construction, if they were building something, like that takes so long.
Did you know that the shark is still down there?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it is.
Can you dive and go see it?
I wish.
Gross, but yeah.
It's gross, but yeah.
If you work for them and your job is to clean it, sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah. One of the Bruce the Sharks too is in a museum somewhere. I don't remember the exact location, but they when they found it, it was in a junkyard somewhere, and it was in really bad shape, and they fixed it up.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah.
A junkyard, not the place you'd expect to find a shark.
No. Well, considering how much problems they have with that film, with the shark mainly.
It's a mechanical nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a Chevy. Just like Eddie Chevy.
It had more parts than a Chevy did.
Well, Chevys start out with that many parts, but as you drive down the road, they tend to fall off. So I've driven a lot of Chevys in my life, and you drive them till they die, and that doesn't take very long.
I have a Chevy.
My condolences.
Yeah,
Mikey
thanks.
has a Chevy, and we all know how that ended up in Florida. So.
Oh, yeah, I do. We're not going to go there.
So yeah, overall though, like the song "Beyond" in this, I think is really good. Like I said, I like the. Knew this was gonna happen. And so I like that song. The opening song I think is fine. None of them really I think are gonna be stuck in my head, kind of the way like "You're Welcome" was or anything like that.
Give it a few months.
Defying Gravity.
Yeah, Defying Gravity.
That's still stuck in my head.
I've been singing Wicked songs all week.
I haven't seen Wicked yet.
Oh, you need to see Wicked.
Yeah, you should.
It's really good.
When I get off a chance and it's not busy, I sure will.
No, you either work or you record an episode of this podcast, or you go back to work.
We'll probably have it till Christmas, so I'm sure you'll have plenty of time.
Probably so. Compared to Wicked, I agree with you. Like Wicked is so good, and the songs are so captivating, and like they're earworms. And in this one, I'm already forgetting. We just stepped out of the theater.
Right.
I've forgotten the melodies to most of them.
Yeah.
Now that happened also in Wicked with the song about loathing, which was my favorite song, and I can't remember it because all I can remember is they did like 9 reprises of Dancing Through Life, which I thought was the most annoying and bad song. But Moana 2, it's good. Like I don't really have a problem with the movie, but
it's better than Wish.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah. But my wife said, and I'm interested to hear your
shout out to
thoughts.
Hannah.
Yeah. Shout out to Hannah. I thought you were going to say shut up, Hannah.
No. She's a queen. I love her.
No, Hannah's suffering right now a little bit too. So.
Yeah. My wife and her family they lost a dog they've had for 15 years.
Yeah.
I will
this
cry
morning,
with her.
and well,
I did.
Will cry with her.
Yeah, I did too. It was a rough morning, but anyway, she said that she felt like they didn't really face a lot of challenges. Like she's like they struggled in the storm, but before that, it all just kind of and then happened.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so, which surprised me because normally Hannah's like much more happy about whatever movie than and she's like, no, it's great, and I'm just like,
except Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, we both don't like that one.
I did like the little coconut guys.
Yeah, the little coconut guys are fun. They were in the first one as well, right? Yeah. So I haven't seen the first one since the year it came out.
Neither have I.
It's been a while. So
you had your chance.
She's talking to Andy. I was left out of this.
You've been at the theater as much as I have lately, so I
was playing it in the office, and you said not now. So
no. Okay.
Pause. Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh my goodness. Good to know you guys are busy in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. What do you think about that? Like, do you feel that there is kind of like a little bit of it's kind of easy up until the very end?
I don't know how to explain this without breaking it down
sure
movie to movie and then not giving any spoilers, but it's crazy because I looked into it because I remember having a conversation with Andy and he was like, oh, it's shorter than the last one, right? Because it felt rushed, but it was only shorter by 7 minutes. So is 7 minutes really that detrimental to a movie? Possibly. But if you look at both of them side by side, it's basically the exact same scenes, the exact same adventure, the exact same problems. It's copy paste, same thing, different font. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Same thing, different font.
Interesting.
Which for someone who is very much freak of nature, likes the same thing, I was cool with it. I was chill with it. Right?
For someone who's a freak of nature, it was great. I'm having a good time.
I'm having a great time. 10 out of 10. But I think it was really cool because it was just seeing more of a different kind of representation of more Polynesian culture. The bats.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, the bats were so cool.
Yeah,
they're my favorite animal design.
The water, the animation. There's no doubt. The animation on this is really good.
The animation, and then when you look at the poster, I didn't look at the poster of it until today, where I really dissected the poster, and just the poster itself tells you.
Is that why it's shredded in the main room? walking through the lobby, there's a poster that's all cut up. I thought that was weird, but if she was dissecting it, that makes sense.
No,
Yeah,
that's probably one of the Gladiator free posters that we were giving out.
No, but if you look at the poster, you can literally see like the story of the movie being shown in the poster. Where if you look at all different movie posters, it's just like, oh, main guy. That's it.
Yeah, there's the Rock's face.
Yeah.
Great.
And then if you look at Maui holding his hook, you can see the number 2 in his arm. Because he has his arm out like this and you have the hook. It's the number 2.
Okay.
That's nice. Well, shout out to the poster
Disney
design.
kind of does stuff like that on purpose, too.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
Especially with Pixar movies.
Yeah.
They have a lot of Pixar Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pixar is, and that's the thing is like comparing this to most Pixar movies. And, you know, I walked out of Inside Out too, going like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And
Yeah,
I walked out of this
same
going,
here.
I didn't have a bad time. I laughed a couple of times, and you know, like I was kind of grooving along.
But also, even like the villainess in this, she's kind of disposable.
is
But
she
she's
even
not
a villainess?
the villain, though.
Yeah,
That's true.
This whole
Because if you
movie-
watch the end credit scenes, you can tell she's not the villain.
Right.
Yeah. This is.
I did.
I guess we should just go ahead and say
Yeah,
let's get
spoilers.
into spoilers because
Okay.
I think that generally I could say it's an easy recommend for a family movie. It's
Yeah,
fun.
definitely.
You know, like you're not going to be like, oh, when will this end? Because it ends pretty quick.
Well, that's how we were in Red 1. Is like, when was
Yes.
this? Because it's 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Gosh, when will I have to stop
Oy.
looking at Chris Evans' face? And so,
And bad New York accent.
yeah, or Jersey accent. I don't know what it was supposed to be.
It was bad.
It was bad. I just want to say before we get into spoilers, if you're a fan of Star Wars, Tamara Morrison reprises his role in this as Moana's father, and I could not think of anything except Boba Fett and Clone Wars. Every time he talked, I'm just like
Fett.
I can just hear him go, like doing. They've captured the forward command post because it was he does the voices in the old.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now that you say it,
like,
I can hear it.
He's
Yeah.
all the clones throughout all of Star Wars until D. Bradley Baker took over for the Clone Wars stuff. But like I just kept thinking, man, I wish I was watching Star Wars.
LOL.
All right, well, let's get into spoilers
spoilers.
then. Spoilers, everybody. Remember, there's time code
Neener,
down
neener.
below. You can jump around. We'll do the news later. Oh my goodness,
That's more the news. That's coming after.
Breaking news.
this
Spoilers.
this just in. Maria's lost it.
She never, here's an even bigger spoiler. She never had it to begin with.
There you go.
Whoa,
No,
that's-
he's speaking truth. He's speaking truth.
I mean, as long as you're
I don't know
happy
how
with
I
it.
made it through all these years of college, and here I am graduating on
But
Friday.
That's
so.
why me and her get along so well here at the theater.
You're graduating.
Yay.
But you also were self-detrimental, so
Yay.
Yeah, and she's graduating at the same time as Hannah is.
Yay.
yes, yeah, you guys are graduating on the same day. So I'll be at your graduation.
Yay.
I mean, mostly I'll be at my wife's graduation, but I'll be at yours too.
Yeah,
You'll just be there for support.
in spirit.
Yeah.
Um,
Hannah. Oh, Maria.
okay, let's talk about the plot of this movie. So Moana, it picks up basically at where the first one stops. She comes. No.
No. Because in the first one, she comes back home, right?
Well, then where the heck's she been?
She's just been exploring.
Well,
Okay, no, so in the last one, it ended up where she came back home, right? Because she ran away without her parents knowing that she left.
right.
Right. So she comes back home. In this one, she's just kind of been exploring, doing her own thing, practicing, trying to figure out how to become, the explorer person of the tribe.
Sure.
Right. And then in this one, we have the little sister. So they couldn't have been gone. She couldn't have been gone this entire time if her little sister was like, big sis,
Sure.
the entire
Okay.
time.
All right, so it jumps forward a little bit.
Yeah.
I may have missed the first 30 seconds of this movie.
Yeah, you did.
Just a little bit. But
Tisk, tisk.
I know
Garrett's punctuality is something to be desired.
that's we both desire it. I don't know why I can't find it.
You're on time for Gladiator.
Oh, I guess it's when I care.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Whoa.
Okay, now to be fair, the reason you're here specifically is because this is not a movie for Andy and me. This
No,
is
I know.
not made for us.
I'm well aware.
We are.
And we've already
I'm
had
here
Drew on.
I'm here to provide the pizzazz for Moana too.
the
That's
pizzazz.
right.
I'm already planning on getting another Moana tattoo added.
Another one?
Yeah.
You have a first one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does.
Oh.
So okay.
Oh, I had no idea that
so
was
it's
what that
the
was for.
necklace with the heart of Te Fiti, not the egg.
Oh, is that? Yeah, I was going to say, is that why you were always getting mad at me when I was referring to it as the egg the last couple of days?
It is not an egg. Anyways, that is my favorite plant. And that's my mom's favorite flower. So, like, it's all tied in, like, familiar-wise, but I'm going to definitely add more to it. So.
Does your tattoo move?
Yeah, look.
Just wiggling her arm.
And then. Okay, so you know how, like, the grandma, the village crazy lady?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I chose the wrong tattoo. I have a feeling that me and Mikey are going to come back as sharks because there's sharks on my ankle. Look. See? Sharks.
She's right. Can confirm are sharks. There are sharks on her ankle.
Look.
Once again, that's why I get along with her. Because one of my things before I die is to go to Australia to swim with the sharks in a shark cage.
I swam with the sharks down in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah?
It was. Well, no, it was Houston. But yeah, it was cool. They got
sharks
teeth.
in San Antonio?
No, sorry, I misspoke.
I was going to say,
did you get that close?
They swam right up to the cage. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like right past
that's
us.
what I want.
And the one that got really close, I was looking the other way, and then I turned my head and saw it was like.
So you felt like Hooper from Jaws.
Yeah, it was very scary. I knew I was completely safe, but it just was like, you can't really hear them coming.
Yeah, no.
You basically just have
they're
your
just
eyesight.
like giant. They're like the Great Danes of the ocean. They're just gentle giants.
Yeah, if the Great Danes have
with
rabies.
big teeth.
I love sharks.
So do I.
You can just
I love them at a distance.
if you flip them upside down, they'll fall asleep.
But how are you going to do that?
You swim up to it and you flip it upside down and it falls asleep.
They're generally not very friendly when you swim up
Soul
to them.
Surfer didn't get that chance.
No, she did not.
Well,
Gosh, that's a dark joke.
poor Bethany.
The only thing that turned over was his stomach after he ate a whole arm. Going, oh, shouldn't have had that second arm. Oh.
Or be like Jaws 3D, where you see the arm floating in the water too.
Spit it back up. Sorry,
Yeah.
didn't mean to bite off more than I could chew.
There's an even worse one in Piranha 3D, but it's a male anatomy part that I'm not even
No.
Yeah.
I'd rather lose my arm.
Ew.
You see the fish cough that up, and then it's floating in 3D, and
My
Ew.
God. I got to see this movie.
and it's Never Let Go.
No, that's
Alexander
really up the
Aja
alley
that did
for
that.
you.
Is it really?
Yeah. it
Wow.
is.
That is quite a turn in his filmography.
Definitely.
That's really up the alley for you guys, like horror movies and bleh.
Well,
I've made Garrett watch more this year than he has seen in his entire life.
that's true.
Period.
Yeah,
Exposure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to the story of the movie, though.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
you don't turn- oh my gosh.
Maria's limited for time here.
Do you think we all have maybe major ADHD?
1000%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it picks up
Some
with her
more like
returning
capitalized H than others.
yeah.
Garrett.
What?
Oh, your H
I
is
thought
as
you were
big as
talking
this
about-
theater.
Yeah, you are the H.
I like to call it personality.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that.
So basically, she's coming home and she gets the title of Tautai, I believe it is. And basically, she's a wayfinder. So she is supposed to go out and find more places and connect all the people of the world. And then when they try to honor her by giving her this title, she gets struck by lightning and a visit from an old guy who says, yo, you got to go with everyone. You all die.
That was the old.
That was the old Wayfinder,
Wayfinder,
the
yeah.
last Tautai who was from 1,000 years ago. They have not changed their fashion in 1,000 years, and I kind of wish that had happened in America because we peaked in the 90s. I mean, the flared jeans, bring those back. Jorts. Oh, remember jorts? Jorts were great. I'm just kidding.
You're alone on this one, dude.
Yeah. That's
Most
why I
of the
wasn't
time.
saying anything.
So, yeah, she ends up going out and trying to find what's the island's name? Oh my gosh.
I wrote it down, but I forgot.
Yeah, me too. Motufetu.
Yeah, it's like
Motivation.
it's like the Gateway Island.
Yeah, and so this island is like at the center of all of the
entire
different
ocean.
islands in the ocean, and she has to go, but it's been cursed and dropped to the bottom of the ocean by a god called Nalo, who doesn't want everyone connected because reasons.
Yeah.
Did
so
they ever explain why?
They did. He believed that like he could have more control of the islands if people weren't connecting to them.
Oh, So Nalo's basically just CNN.
Okay.
Oh,
Separate people and make them not like each other.
I was going to say Trump.
trigger warning for some. Potentially.
For all, we've got both sides of the fight here. I don't trust any of the major news outlets. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't. That's why I get it from Bloomberg.
CNN's just funnier to make fun of because
Okay.
they're easier. I mean, Fox is like too low hanging fruit. CNN's right in that area where some people still take it seriously, and that makes it funny to make fun of.
Yeah, it is.
So Maui is out trying to lift this island. Is that something that carried over from the first one? Do you remember?
Yeah, because in the You're Welcome, like, look, I can go on and on. I can, the whole thing, he goes, the sky, the suns, the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's literally lifting up islands.
Sure, but did they ever mention this island in the first one specifically? No. Okay. So it just kind of starts with him like midway through his quest to get there. And then, she gets struck by lightning, gotta go.
He wasn't trying to get there.
He was trying to lift the island at the beginning. Like that was his thing, is he wants to go there and he wants the Bat Lady to open the gate so he can go there. But
you're right.
If he has to have a human to step onto the island, then I don't know what his plan was. It kind of doesn't make sense.
To break the
because
curse.
that's why as soon as she steps on that one portal, and he's like, it was her?
Yeah, she opened it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she did the one thing about this movie, I love how they started incorporating so much more of the Polynesian culture than they did in the first one. Because the first one, it was there. And a lot of the certain things were grazed on. But this one, the dances, the chants, all these, I love how they included New Zealand culture because the girl who's building the boat. Love that. Completely different accent than everybody else.
Yeah.
They included that.
Well,
that was
Tamara
super
Morrison is from New Zealand as well. He's a Kiwi.
Yeah.
And so I was picking up a little bit on that too. I think the performances are all good. All the way through. Rose Matafeo is Loto. So the genius girl. And she was a lot of fun. I liked her a lot. I liked.
Can we talk about the farmer?
Yeah, so Keeley is his name. He was the next one I was going to bring up.
Love him.
He was great.
Which
he was a grumpy farmer.
He's my
that didn't want to go anywhere. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that was me on the boat.
No. That guy was me because one of the very first things he says is, "Do you have to sing?" I don't do sing-alongs.
Hey, I don't do sing-alongs. That was
yes. Finally, after all these talks for the last 20 years about representation in media, someone who represents me.
That and Venom in the last Venom movie when Venom said, "We're done with this multiverse crap."
Yeah.
LOL. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I think that overall everyone does a really good job on the voice performances, with the exception of Dwayne Johnson singing. That's the only time where I was like,
if you're a hater, just say so.
I'm not a hater.
Don't hate on my man.
I'm not hating on your man.
Don't hate on my man.
Don't listen. I'm not hating. I'm being objective in reviewing a bad performance from a guy whose head is so far up his own butt he can smell his own colon all the time.
You're just mad because he's got the muscles and the tan.
Yeah, stop. Leave some for the rest of us.
Okay.
I could get a muscle suit too and play Maui. He's not special. Which, by the way, he confirmed this week. Yes, it is a suit. He's not actually 900 pounds of muscle. So,
thank goodness.
Yeah, that he'd crush a couch. You can't have that much muscle in the live action one. At least he's wearing the bodysuit. He might have
so much to say about the live action one.
Is it good stuff or bad stuff?
Okay.
Oh.
So
don't be hating on my man. Don't be. No, if you're a hater, just say so.
Period. Ate and left no crumbs, Garrett.
I don't know what you're saying.
That's okay. I'm here to represent the Gen Z. Anyways. So, something that Andy mentioned in the at the beginning was how the whole cash grab thing. Did you know that this was technically supposed to be a series for Disney Plus?
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
So, and then they said, never mind. In February, they were like, let's just make a whole movie about it, right?
Yeah.
Granted, great decision. Loved it. Anyways, I think that if the live action one comes to play with the way that the second one left off for a potential third, clearly a third, I think that it's going to ruin it because people are going to expect that the live action one be connected to the first or the second one, and it's not, and it's going to leave such a bad reputation for the animated Moana.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there too. I agree with that.
I think they're gonna skip the whole story of Moana 2 for the live action and just have it where it basically she returns the heart of Te-Fiti and raises the island. That way it's like, no, this is just a live action retelling of these, and it picks up, they all end at the same place, and then whatever one comes out next, whether it's the animated one or another live action one, picks up the story at that point.
I'd be interested to see if it's a live action one, since it's so Dwayne Johnson oriented, if it has to do with the backstory of Maui.
Yeah, like, are they going to do a completely separate thing? But they've said it's a remake, so it's...
Right, so no, it's not really clear. Like, there's nothing... Disney's not really giving anything away on that right now. I've only seen a couple of photos from the shoot, like, in the last couple of weeks. Like, there really hasn't been much. And with... Dwayne Johnson has a reputation, too, of making sets very closed. Hercules...
That way people can't tell that he's peeing in bottles and handing it to PAs, so he doesn't have to walk his happy butt to the honey wagon and pee himself.
Notably, Hercules was like that.
I won't
like,
stand
he
for
would
this
not
Dwayne Johnson hate.
It's not hate,
today.
I'm reporting.
Not today.
He wouldn't let anybody take any pictures or anything on that set.
On Hercules?
Yeah.
Of all movies.
Yeah.
King.
Oh, no, we don't want people to... Look, we don't want anyone to find out that I'm playing a really strong guy in this movie.
Yeah, it's called The Scorpion King.
No. Don't bring that up. You're fired. Here's my bottle of pee. Take it to the trash can on the way out.
LOL.
Fine. See, you do this podcast by yourself.
No, I was being Dwayne Johnson. Don't.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was.
Yeah, it was in the biz. It's what we call a skit,
Yes.
a gag, a goof. A gaff, if you will.
Don't get him started on G-Force.
I'm not.
I was really
started.
hoping we weren't going to mention that.
What?
G-Force.
Are you talking about the world's
Stop.
best
No.
animated movie of all time?
It is literally Moana
action?
2.
No, G-Force is so much better. This one does not have Nicolas Cage as a mole. Like, that's a clear mark against it.
I thought he was the voice of the pig.
No. He would never stoop so low. I will not.
Shout out to Alan Tudyk, though.
If you're a hater on my man, you just tell me.
Have we seen Left Behind?
Oh.
I believe what you're talking about is someone who was pretending to be Nicolas Cage, because clearly he wouldn't have done that. He's a master of his craft.
Yeah, no, he did one of those Left Behind movies.
No.
Yes,
You're thinking of Kirk Cameron.
No, I'm not.
No, you're definitely thinking.
That was the first. No, there's a Nicolas Cage one.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't pull up whether or not they're saying that it is a straight up remake, but yeah, it's fine.
I'm looking forward more to the Lilo and Stitch live action than I am Moana.
I'm not.
I am.
Because that was one of my first theater memories was seeing Lilo and Stitch. I thought we were going to go see Spirit and was really mad when we sat down.
You really wanted to see Spirit?
I really wanted to see Spirit.
You're the only person.
But then the moment that Stitch landed on Earth and held up a frog at gunpoint, it was like, this is the best movie that's ever been made.
Yeah.
LOL, not the frog. I have a picture that kind of resembles that. There was a frog just staring at me. I was playing at the driveway. So I just zoomed in. It was like, anyways.
Oh, the fish that Maui had to contend with too in this.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat. Remind me of the slugs from Flushed Away.
It did, yes. Oh my goodness, I could not get the slugs out of my head.
Yeah.
And that's why my brain no worky so good. But I think that the creature stuff in this is really fun. I like the bats. I like the fish. The pig and chicken are good as always.
I don't like how they gave him a snaggletooth though. They gave Pua a snaggletooth to make him look older.
Was that a different? Because there were two pigs in this.
Yeah.
No, okay. I'm talking. No. I know the difference.
Okay.
Trust.
All right. I trust you on
Pua, they gave him a snaggletooth, and if you pay a lot of close attention, half of the movie, the snaggletooth is there, and then the other half, it's not. So it's either hidden or they just forgot. I have something to say about them, the quality of the graphics, halfway through the movie, just. Anyways.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I can tell on the skin. As someone with tattoos on my skin, you can tell a lot how they take care of the graphics on the skin. So towards the beginning of the movie, hold on, Pua. Anyways, they made him older, they made him bigger, and they gave him a snaggletooth. Not cool. Not cute. But that's just me. That's just my personal belief. Then they had the Moana bees, and they gave them a hog of some sorts, and it was hairy and patchy and gross.
I agree. I did not like that pig.
No. Anyways.
He was luau fodder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was where the bacon was coming from.
LOL. Anyways, so
you could just laugh. You don't have to say LOL. You can just giggle.
He.
Yeah, it wasn't like when we had Drew on this, and Drew, we had to get Drew. Okay, so you have to talk. Like it's not. People
Drew
can't
is a
see
king.
you. People can't
Drew.
see you like nodding your head and stuff. And this is the complete opposite.
We translated. Yeah, we can't get a word in edgewise. That's what I tell you.
Seriously.
Drew is currently LOLing.
Yes.
But okay, so in the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where like Moana hugs her dad, and if you pay attention to his skin, you can see it's very much textured skin for someone who is like, sun exposed of like potentially like in his 50s, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You can see it. But then if you like watch at the end of the movie, I paid a lot of close attention specifically because I know I was going to be on this podcast. So towards the end, you can see that the skin isn't really there. It looks like it's just like baby soft skin. It's just like, that's not right. And there's this one scene where they're on the boat right before they're about to like, go fish for this island. You can see like Maui's shoulders there. But then when you get to like the forearm, not the forearm, this part of the arm, what's it called?
Bicep.
The bicep part of the arm, it's blurry. And then the rest of the arm is there. And I'm like, caught you.
So potentially a rendering error or something there. Yeah, that's interesting.
But they paid a lot of close attention to the tattoos on his skin. Did you know he had new tattoos? Bet you didn't, but I did.
I did not.
No, I didn't either.
I spent a lot less time looking at Maui's chest than you might have imagined.
Okay.
Valid. Okay. Anyways, but like,
well, except for when he got a purple nurple, that was great.
Oh.
Getting a purple nurple from your tattoo is a pretty rough day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Graphics are great in some parts.
I
at
thought
the
the
beginning.
storm, like when all the tornadoes form when they get close to the island at the end, like that looked as good as anything from like Twisters at the beginning. But then like towards the end of that sequence, I don't know why you hate it so much, but towards the end of that sequence, they started to feel a little more, like
intense.
They lost texture, they lost kind of like they were just kind of smudgier.
Yeah, it wasn't intense.
Yeah, it was, and it was weird because it was like, well, you just showed me you could do it.
It's like that one picture of like the horse, which is like the horse on fire, and then the horse on fire, and then like the
child's
single
rendering.
hand sketch of like of a horse. That's basically how that was.
Yeah,
still love it though. I'm still gonna watch it repeatedly.
Okay,
the second it comes out to purchase and purchase.
Well, I wonder why the story is such a repeat. If they. Especially if they were going to do it as a series, like you could do so many different things, and I don't think this really
there's got to be enough
like
Polynesian folktales where they could carry on like much more than what they did here. That would be my belief.
Yeah, it's like because in the last one, they go out and then they get caught up with the crab, and in this one it's a clam. And
no, the crab makes an appearance
in the post credits scene. But it's like I don't know if
he's not as shiny though.
He's definitely not as shiny. He's covered in bones now.
Too shiny.
But I don't know. There's like less personality overall, I think, than the first one. In some ways, like I like the new characters, but also there's like they are kind of one dimensional. He's the one who's obsessed with Maui. She's the smart one. He's the grumpy one, and that's it. Like there's no real arc for them, and it feels like that's what you do with that other 7 minutes. You develop them just a little bit more, and like Moana's learning to lead, but the way that she's out of control of the ship, and then she just sings a song and everyone's on board, and it's like great, and I think that's what my wife was talking about was like it just feels like it kind of just was like it's fixed, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, that's Disney,
and I think that major lost opportunity for it's trying to set up another movie, the whole movie. Instead of being its own story, this is like Iron Man 2, where it's just trying to set up the Avengers, and it's, I think that was the thing that got me was as soon as they meet up with the Bat Lady inside the giant clam, which we find out is where Maui has been held captive. It's like she should be a threat. That's they set her up as a threat. She says, "I have plans for both of you." There's all the buildup of like Null in Venom: The Last Dance.
Yeah.
But then then they get there and it's just like, I'm a sad girlie who's been trapped for 1,000 years, and I want you to win, but don't let anybody tell you. Don't tell nobody I helped you. I have bats.
In Polynesian culture, bats are like really important. Mm-hmm. They're like probably on the high side of the totem pole.
So how so?
So I know that like I forgot the name of the goddess of the bats, but like the bats have like significance in like with like fertility and this and that, but not necessarily mainly. I don't think just like human fertility, but like if we're talking about fertility, we can talk about fertility of islands. Like bringing in more and more islands, more and more things. So maybe there could be that significance. And since this one dude, the thunderstorm guy, that doesn't want to raise, Nalo, yeah. Maybe he wants to have the power for himself, as kind of it's been stated. Maybe because like bats and all that stuff are high on the totem pole.
Okay.
Maybe he's trying to keep her captive because maybe she might have some more,
No, that's kind of cool to know that. Thanks.
Like, I think that's interesting, but they also should have. That should have been part.
They should have extrapolated that on that a little bit more in the film.
I think that's the thing. Is like all of this stuff is interesting, and I'd like to know more about it, but it's just not there.
Yeah.
So like, if someone doesn't take their 5-minute break and go and research this, which most 10-year-olds are not, like, there's no real
even
explanation.
The adults that are going to go see this aren't.
And that's why you have Maria.
That's
right.
That's why we have the podcast. Maria's here to save everyone else, save Disney's butt for not doing what they're supposed to. But I don't know. It's just, it feels like overall it generally falls flat in a couple of the story beat stuff because it just kind of, it's an and then story.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if we were gonna have this main lady be set up as a bad guy, bad guy, maybe not bad guy, but antagonist. If they're going to set that up, she needs to be the antagonist.
Well, it's almost like they're setting up for a Thanos, and that's exactly what it seemed like during the end credit scene.
The final boss.
The end credit scene is kind of...
It just so reminded me of like the Avengers when they first introduced Thanos.
Yes. Yeah.
That's exactly the thing that went through my head. I'm like, okay, so we're going to go this route, and that's where I'm like, it's not very original, where they could have done something a little bit better.
I think
something a little bit more well thought out. And like I say, with the Polynesian culture probably having a lot of folktales and things that they can tell stories about, there should have been something more to go to than a Marvel film.
Sure, yeah. And I definitely think that what would have been more interesting is her actually trying to keep Moana and Maui from accomplishing their goals, so that when she fails, she's now she's not the big bad anymore. But we see why she was doing it, and she's more of a, you can empathize with her and go, oh, that's why, because this awful Nalo is like, that should have been the movie.
Right.
But instead, halfway through, she's just like, guess what? There's always another way out. I'm a big singer. Whoa, yeah, go have fun. Bang.
She's basically said that there's a loophole. You gotta,
Right, just gotta find the loophole.
Yeah, and that is not generally how these things play out in real life, but in stories they always do.
Yeah, because kids are stupid.
So
Can I talk about Moana being a demigoddess for my last part?
Yes, please. This surprised me. I wasn't expecting this to happen. She drowns herself to touch the island, and then gets hit by lightning from Nalo and goes and then she becomes a... How does that all work? Does it establish that that's how Maui became a demigod? Like all of his ancestors went and gave him an Iron Man power up, or how does that work?
I don't know. I know it's mentioned in the first one, but I don't remember. But I think it's really cool how like everybody, like every dead person just showed up, just be like... You one of us now. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that like I've always like had in the back of my mind, because I used to cry a lot when like people would die and they're never gonna kill off the main character.
Right, yeah.
But in this one, technically they did.
They did.
Yeah.
Technically they did.
They didn't have the stones to go with it, but they did actually kill her. So some credit.
But they leveled her up though to demigoddess status. So I wonder,
Did she get any powers from that, or just like, I guess she can put her oar in the water and it shows where to go to the next island, but that's about all I saw.
I thought it was done better in Coco, actually, and I like Coco as a film more than I do this.
Coco.
But
Coco's
Pixar.
a good movie.
Yeah.
It's Pixar. Like, I think that's it.
Dia de Muertos, I'm just fascinated with too. So that's probably another reason.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I like the ending and the fact that she sacrifices herself for everyone else. And, and is rewarded for doing that. And I think that
but you almost kind of expect it.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I mean, the moment she gets hit by the lightning, I'm like, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, technically though, and Maui goes down and has a moment with her, but he's not the one who. Oh my gosh, his chants,
and then he starts crying.
Yeah.
Oh,
proving that
I started crying.
The Rock could act if he wanted to. Red one.
And this concludes the segment of Moana love, and now it's going to Dwayne The Rock Johnson hate. Because
they coincide.
Yeah, they do.
Because your girl's gotta go.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
Hold on.
Yeah, please.
Hold on.
Final thought.
Final thoughts. Moana was fantabulous. I'm gonna watch it 27 more times. I'm gonna get another tattoo. It is great. To all the people on those Facebook groups, those Disney Facebook groups that I am part of, and you want to share that Moana hate, this is for you. This is for you, Rebecca. Her name's not actually Rebecca.
Your eyes went cross.
Wow.
Anyways, it's a great movie. It is not what you think of it, like being terrible and just another remake. It technically is, but it's gonna be great. Same thing, different font, but sometimes different fonts can be great. Okay, I cannot emphasize how amazing this movie was to me, and I loved it. And every other little girl in their hearts who just wants to be living in the ocean. Ding 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 me.
Okay.
So,
well, I can definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I can too.
I think that is a great way to sum up how
I'm gonna listen to this one, and I'm gonna be like, let me see what other kind of hate they got to say after I live.
Don't worry, it's just for Joker 2.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been picking on Joker 2 for a couple of podcasts.
At least it's remembered. It's more than you could probably say for it with most other people.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Maria, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out, Maria.
Tune into my graduation. Bye, guys.
Okay.
She's literally running out. There she goes.
Bye, Maria.
Wow. Okay. Well, now that she's gone, we can talk about how we really feel about the movie.
Yeah.
Oh. Man, I burned the film, Andy. Burn it. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
it was fine.
I really didn't hate it. I just thought it was kind of better than Wish. Yes,
sure.
So Disney upped their game a little bit for the holiday offering this year rather than Thanksgiving last year, and obviously from box office grosses. More people were interested to see this than they were Wish.
This came out on the 27th. We're recording this on the 30th, and the box office so far is 192.7 million. It is doing really well, which for a retreading of a story you've already told that you adapted into a feature-length film from a miniseries that you were creating to try and bolster up interest for the franchise, not bad.
No.
It's better than Joker 2 over its entire theatrical run.
Well, I still say Joker 2 costs what, 250 or 230?
It was 250 million plus 100 million in marketing at least.
So Wicked 1 and 2 total 330 million.
Yeah.
Looks way better. And did you watch the behind the scenes thing that I told you?
Oh no, I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet.
They constructed everything on a giant soundstage. They grew 7,000 tulips for that opening sequence.
Really?
Yeah. No, you got to see that.
Okay, yeah, I gotta look
seeing
at
the
that.
work that went into that film is just amazing. It's like they could have very easily gone the CGI route and a lot of blue and green screens. They didn't.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that money was well spent.
Yeah. And I think that, you could probably, I can't even find what the budget is for this, probably because it
doesn't
around
matter
so many times. But yeah, it's going to make its money back and then more.
It already has. So Grand Avenue had the record day for Black Friday, 2,492 people in one day.
How many of those were for Moana 2?
A lot.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't, I was just so glad to see people coming out for movies. So,
yeah.
It wasn't just Moana everybody was coming out for. People were coming out for Moana, Wicked, Gladiator, even Red 1.
Yeah.
People were coming in and everybody's coming out for the movies again.
Yeah, those poor people in Red 1 got the short end of the stick. There were other options. But
did.
Hey, you do what you want to do. What you want to do.
And Gladiator was probably the one that did the least.
Yeah. There's some news about Gladiator this week that I figure you've seen.
There's a Gladiator 3 in the works.
Yeah, so that's one thing. I guess let's do the news.
Yeah,
We're
let's
in the news.
do the news. Maria definitely said everything we needed to say.
She summed up the whole movie. So.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, the news. For one, and this was something that kind of surprised me. Gladiator 3, yeah, he's got plans for it. But more surprising than that was the cinematographer for Gladiator 2 coming out and basically just lambasting Ridley Scott for the way that he made the movie.
Really?
This was...
Guess he's not going to be the photographer for Gladiator 3.
Probably not. So the cinematographer's name is John Mathiasson, and basically he just said that... Ridley Scott's approach to making it was bad. So he said working with Ridley Scott has kind of become a nightmare. He said it's really lazy. It's the CG elements now of tidying up, leaving things in shot, cameras in shot, microphones in shot, bits of set hanging down, shadows from booms. So he said that
Yeah, it's called making a movie.
Well, sure, but I mean, the thing is, what he's talking about specifically is that he's trying to shoot for coverage rather than for individual shots. So one of the things that he says, if you look at Ridley Scott's filmography and compare it to his old stuff, like he was paying much more attention with getting depth and very much part of lighting. You can't do that with a lot of cameras, but he just wants to get it all done. And I think that is one thing that, although I think Gladiator 2 still looks really good, that is one thing that I feel like it doesn't have, like it's got a little bit more of that soap opera lighting feel where it's just like light the set and go for it and get it done. And so he said, having lots of cameras, I don't think has made the films any better. It's a bit rush. He said that...
Well, he's old, too. He
Well,
needs to get it done before he dies.
Before he dies. But yeah, John Mathiasson believes Scott doesn't care about quality cinematography like it used to, saying, quote, now it is this thing of generally covering stuff rather than me being the cook cooking you something wonderfully in my kitchen downstairs. He said, you just go to the supermarket and get one of those really big trolleys and you just put your arm on the shelf and just chuck all that stuff in and we'll sort it out later. Which is, that's pretty... That's pretty rough to be saying that about Ridley Scott. He said, but that's the way he wants to do it, and I don't like it, and I don't think many people do, but people love his films, and he's Ridley Scott, and he can do what he wants.
Right.
So he said that, and this was posted on MovieWeb a while ago. I think it was earlier this week. But then recently, he walked back those comments saying that Ridley Scott was lazy, probably to try and salvage his career.
Probably because Ridley Scott was going to kick his butt.
I really want people to kind of go with the Uwe Boll approach to movies, where anytime someone criticizes them, they're like, meet me in the ring. I'll fight you for it.
Yeah, because he did that with Postal a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That was the one that film just comes to mind more than anything. I don't know why.
So basically, he walked back his statements, and Mathiasson said while he was talking to Nigel Levy on a podcast, he said, we talked about that, and I said that people just come in the morning, switch the coffee machine on, switch the cameras on, say, what are we doing? Because the digital stuff doesn't cost anything, but so you shoot a lot. And I was saying... this was the quote. I said, the industry, it's really lazy. Lazy and sloppy are not two words I would ever put with this gentleman of a certain age and genius. But if you slide out, and you can hear it, you can slide out a paragraph and put it right next to it. Oh, let's talk about Ridley and multi-cameras.
So he's crawfishing now and trying to say it was taken out of context?
Yes.
Because he wants the job on Gladiator 3.
Well, I don't think he's going to get it. But
you're right about that.
But yeah, at the very least, he's trying to walk it back. And like, look, I understand being frustrated with how productions are done. I've been on the sets of stuff where I'm the DP and the director is absolutely off his nut.
Don't bash a director like Ridley Scott.
You can't do it publicly, for one. And if you C.S. Lewis said, if you're going to say something, make sure that you say it in a way so that it can only mean what you intend for it to mean.
Right.
If you can be taken out of context, you might not have structured your sentence in the way that you probably should. And I know that's rich coming from me. But
words to live by, Garrett.
I know. I mean, advice for those who are not me. I won't take my own advice, but yeah, it's
and you won't take mine either.
I don't take anybody's advice. That's why I'm a mess. But yeah, he's look, I understand what he means though, because there are definitely when you light a shot, you can't light for multiple shots the same way.
Right.
On a wide, you're lighting for the room. On a close-up, you're lighting more for the face, and you're going to sweeten it up, is what we like to call it. And so, yeah, it's a difficult sort of thing to get a lot of coverage all at once, and you have to do a little bit more. And when you do an explosion, you can only do one or two of those probably, and so you got to just get it from every angle at the same time. And so those things are normally, but you can tell like when you watch it, especially in low budget movies, like this is less polished than the lighting in these other scenes or whatever. And yeah, I do think that the industry generally does try to fix it in post. That's kind of the thing. And I've had shots where I couldn't get the boom out of the shot, so I did film a clean plate and remove it later. And like these tricks are not bad in and of themselves. It's more about shooting with intentionality. That's kind of
as long as you're not like doing the Ed Wood school of filmmaking where it's the big picture and nobody notices the tiny details. And that was his philosophy, and look where it got him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and nobody wants to follow that.
And Maria will absolutely catch you. She will catch your skin texture, and you can do nothing about it.
I give her props for that, man. She really did her research.
Yeah, did you hear her? She said she really paid attention because she knew she was coming on here.
Yeah.
Imagine if we did that.
I know we'd have more viewers or listeners other than Drew.
No. People hate it when people pay attention. They want to feel superior to us. That's why I play the idiot on the show.
Okay,
and also in regular life, and also when I'm alone.
No, I don't agree with that.
So, according to Deadline, Moana 2 grossed $28 million just on Thanksgiving, which is a record for the holiday, which means it beat Frozen, which is insane because Frozen was a cultural phenomenon.
Oh, yeah, and so was the second one.
Yeah, and I don't hear people talking about this the way I heard them talking about Frozen, but to get that much, I mean, don't put things on Disney+. I think that's what we've learned, is stop throwing things to streaming.
So my whole thing was, I know Disney had a reason for doing the way that they did for titles like Soul, Turning Red, and my favorite that I really liked and I wish I could have seen it in the theater was Luca. Luca was just an amazing story.
Luca looks really pretty.
Yeah, and it's a really cool little movie. Turning Red,
I'm fine with having never seen Turning Red.
Yeah, I wish I could kind of take some of that back, knowing what it like.
It's not
allegory
for me
is for
because I'm a boy, and that's fine. You don't have to make every movie for me.
But Soul was another one too. If anything, just to see it in the theater for the music.
Sure,
like the jazz score to that is just fantastic.
And I understand that COVID really messed up how they were planning to release a lot of things. The problem is that, I mean, it's been gone for a while, buddy. We're not, no one's in lockdowns anymore, and they're still throwing stuff right onto streaming, Wolves, for instance.
Yeah.
When they shouldn't be doing that because you can make money here. Just market your movie and don't make utter crap.
So will Hollywood actually take notice of that for this for this holiday weekend?
No. No, they're going to look at this and go, see, this is proof that people like our retread of old movies, so we can just copy paste. We can do a Hangover Part 2 and 3 for everything.
Yeah, but I like those.
That's the lesson they're going to learn.
It doesn't apply to everything, though. You can't use cookie cutter logic to movie making.
Tell that to the studio executives, Andy. They're the ones who need to hear
We need to start our own studio. That's first,
I'd love to.
First project, we'll finance Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves Part 2. It's be like, look, you just change the names. It's fine.
Yeah, we're good, man.
Continuity, who needs it? If Scorsese doesn't need it in his edit, we don't need it between two movies.
Yeah.
Just set it in the Old West, but continue the same story. Have fun.
Well, Disney it's interesting, too. Disney did try to release Soul, Turning Red, and Luca in theaters for limited releases for like 2 weeks apiece.
Yeah.
Problem is with us here, we did it for Soul solely for kind of selfish reasons on my end because I really thought it would do some, but it didn't do any. There were nights that just nobody came.
Yeah.
So,
but that was still pandemic time, you know.
No,
you're talking about re-release.
That was earlier this year.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, like if you re-release something you've already released on streaming,
people aren't going to pay to go see it, but I put it as a $4 ticket.
Yeah.
And people still didn't want to see it.
But it's old news, you know? And it's like, I just, like, I can understand how people go, I could already watch it at home. Like, the draw of the theater, as much as I love this, it's like, I can't see this anywhere else. and a lot of stuff is better on the big screen. And so I appreciate that about it. But also, if I can see something at home where I can pause the movie and go pee whenever I need to, like I get the draw of that as much as I want to see it in a theater. If it's already available there and it comes out later, unless it's something that I was like really hyped for, yeah, I'm probably going to watch it at home.
And I know you might not be excited for this, but the buzz that Nosferatu is getting is
oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing that in a theater.
I'm looking forward to it. I just know there's going to be parts where I'm like, do we need so much sex? But it is a dark temptation. I get it.
I think it's going to be as much as you think.
I hope not, because there's just a lot of moaning in that second trailer.
Well, sex sells.
Oh, that's true. That's absolutely true. That's why I work the corner every weekend. But
ooh,
what?
Bum.
No, I just tell people that their chickens are male or female. Oh. What were you? Get your mind out of the gutter, Andy. Oh my goodness. For those of you who don't know, it's called sexing. That's just what they call it. So Wicked also, they were projecting 175 to 200 million for Moana 2. I think it's going to break 200 million by the end of the weekend, personally. And then Wicked in the 110 million range, which is a second weekend. It's still really great. Like they are going to be just raking in money off of that movie. There are people I've seen, like just from my personal life, posting about how they were mad that it was a two-parter and how it got so close to the end of the play without actually ending the play. Like was the part one ending with Defying Gravity? Is that near the end of the Broadway show?
Well, I know that's where the intermission is.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
So that is halfway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what did I read?
I don't know.
I don't know. Can I read?
I did everything. Just everything that I'm reading right now is just saying you might as well just give it the Academy Award now.
Yeah, I think so.
The thing that I'm interested about that is it going to have the same thing like Peter Jackson and the Lord of the Rings movies? Like they kind of pushed him off every year until Return of the King came out. So are they going to do that with Wicked as well? They're going to push it off to the second part, nominate for a whole bunch of things, then give the big awards?
Maybe.
Or is it just that good that there's no competition for it, that it deserves all these things?
Yeah, we're going to talk definitely a lot more in depth in our year wrap up show about that. But I think that this has enough elements of things that makes the industry look good from a
definitely
cultural
universal
standpoint, that they're going to have a better chance. Because, like, okay, Lord of the Rings was a phenomenon at the time, and rightfully so. But people were kind of looking to see if they fumbled it, just like with the Bakshi version and fantasy stuff in general. Adaptations of these larger books were not doing so hot. Generally, they were
Battlefield Earth.
Oh boy,
I never did bother seeing that.
I said fantasy, Andy, not mistakes. But
very true. Touche. I agree.
But the sort of the thing about this one is that it's starring a diverse cast. It's got all of these things that the Academy wants to award and celebrate and say, look at us and how good we're doing now. We're so much better than we used to be, while running human trafficking rings behind the scenes. But they're allegedly, but it's very much a situation where I can see them saying, hey, this looks good enough on all of us that we should elevate it, rather than going, but there's something that's a little more artsy but has these elements that kind of play to this subsect of the American culture that we think is bigger than it is. So like a lot of the time, Academy Awards they're not all unearned. I'm not saying that they're all, just sort of a way to, say, look at how magnanimous we are.
Nomadland is unearned.
So for instance, I mean, it would help if something had come out that year, but
that was the problem. Yeah.
But generally I think there's more politics than, celebrating the quality of the work, in a lot of Academy Awards. It's not always that way, but you can see when it happens and go, really though? I wish I could think of a great example right now, but I can't.
Well, even going to the year that No Man Land was, Nomadland won Best Picture, I thought Promising Young Woman was a much better film.
Oh, yeah.
Well, better written, much more interesting. That was for sure. But just got snubbed like at every turn. And maybe just because the subject of that film was just so uncomfortable for people.
Sure.
But I thought it was a fascinating and very well put together look at, date rape culture is what it comes down to. And the woman that played that title character, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now.
I'll find it.
She's just fantastic actress too. And it lost to Nomadland. And then the even bigger part of that too is that director from Nomadland got the Eternals, which she turned a Marvel film into a 2-hour and 40-minute art film.
That was a bad movie.
Nobody wanted to see.
It wasn't even an art film. An art film is interesting even if it's bad. Joker 2 is bad, but I'm still just kind of like, oh, what are you doing? But Eternals is just boring. Carey Mulligan, by the way. That's
Carey Mulligan. Yep. Thank you.
The Eternals is a misstep of proportions I cannot, because it's not even bad interesting. It's just nothing.
Right.
It's just nothing.
Right.
And trying to do an ensemble cast like that is a very tough, it's a tall order, but like make them likable maybe.
Yeah, but there's ensemble casts like not even for Marvel films that come across very well and are done very well.
Yeah.
American Hustle is a good example of that.
Anything would be a better example than the Eternals.
Right.
I would rather sit on a cactus than watch the Eternals again.
Ooh.
And I've done that by accident before, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And the pain that I suffered mentally just from watching nothing happen for 2 hours and 40 minutes in the Eternals while Kumail Nanjiani pretends he's funny just was worse.
But he's not even in that film a whole lot.
I know, but somehow he made it worse. And he's funny in real life. How do you do that with him?
I still like The Big Sick.
No, I love The Big Sick. That's what I'm saying, though, is like they made him not funny, and that's like difficult to do.
Yeah. And even Silicon Valley, the show that he did for HBO that Mike Judge did was really good too.
I love Mike Judge's writing. It's great. It's great stuff. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So there is a policy in place at AMC theaters, which basically says that you can't do anything that would cover your identity. So no hats, no hoods, no masks, things like that. There were moviegoers who came to watch Wicked, and they put on full-face green makeup to look like Elphaba.
And they turned them away.
They turned them away, made them wash it off before going in. And people are mad about this.
And it's probably good that I don't work for them anymore, because I would have let it go and I probably would have been fired.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because honestly, it's one thing to wear like a full face mask, because I had to deal with that Halloween after Halloween when I worked for them.
Right.
And, you got to tell... It's more the parents that you have a problem with than the kids. You tell the parent, hey, they got to take their mask. Well, why? Well, that's the policy,
Right, yeah.
Because it's a safety thing. And once it kind of sinks in a little bit, they're still grumbling and moaning, but they'll do it.
Right.
This whole thing with like painting your face, you're not disguising your identity. You can still be identified on camera if you do something. So what is the harm?
Yeah, I see both sides of it, because I understand the safety and security thing. Like you want, if they were doing like the pattern that you put on cars, like prototype cars, to cover up what the actual shape of the body is, or like that camouflage paint they put on battleships, that's
different.
That's different. But if you're just green, and especially with most security systems, the cameras are still black and white a lot of the time.
There's their color.
Okay, well then I don't make it black and white and you won't even know.
Right.
I understand the safety thing. Like I'm very, very interested in more the informational security side, hacking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the way that informational security hacking also happens with what's called social engineering, and it's how people sneak into places that they're not supposed to be to get access to a system they shouldn't have access to. It's interesting, and you could totally use green makeup to, do something but normally you wouldn't do that because it would call attention to you rather than hide you. But anyway,
right.
I understand that. But yeah, also if a 14-year-old girl comes in and she just wants to look like Elphaba and you turn them away, it does kind of feel silly.
And I could see the parents getting very upset by that and going, AMC, you're not getting my movie dollar.
Right, yeah.
I understand that.
And that's the thing, though, is I think that it's fair if you have a policy that extends to a point where people are not okay with it, that if they turn away because of that, then you lose that money. But if you want to do that because you're intent on the security, then that's your right to do so. So it's like, I don't think AMC is technically in the wrong here, but I do understand why people think it's stupid. But I also understand why there are plenty of things that people don't think is or people go, oh, well, that's a stupid rule, but it's really not. Like one of the things,
IDing for alcohol.
Yes.
I had a confrontation with that the other day.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. The guy wouldn't show me his ID, and I'm like, well, then you're done. And he's like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
It's state law.
Well, and one of the things that lots of people use for what's called tailgating. So when someone opens a secure door that you have to swipe to get through, and then someone rushes up and goes, oh, hold the door. And they're like, oh, come on in. Like they're trying to be nice, right?
Right.
Especially if it's a pregnant woman. They'll always hold the door for a pregnant woman. But what if that woman's not actually pregnant? What if that woman is trying to get access to your building and doesn't have a security card and you hold the door open for her?
Yeah, but sometimes you can tell that.
Sure, sometimes you can, but I have heard many stories where women who work in InfoSec do that and totally get away with it. No one questions them because they're waddling and they've got the pregnant belly. And I have one of those fake bellies at home. It's not just a pillow. I have reasons for having it, just to be clear. It was for a shoot.
Even the Jane's Addiction video for Been Caught Stealing. That's the entire thing. It's a professional shoplifter that they showed how he gets ready and how he goes into the store and does what he does.
Yeah. And it's like, it seems like a silly, like, don't be nice to people. That's a dumb rule.
Yeah.
But, you just cost our company about $3 million in assets that were sold off to a highest bidder. So, like, I get it. But but probably just let people be green.
Did the NSA stop Rubik's Cube once the Snowden thing hit?
I don't know what the NSA does except spy on me when I'm trying to find deals on Amazon.
And how he got away with that too is he got everybody in his division there a Rubik's Cube for Christmas.
Really?
So that's why it slipped by and nobody was the wiser.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yep. And now Rubik's Cube's completely outlawed in the United States. Crazy.
Really?
No, I'm just joking. Now, I do want to point out, like, one of the reasons that that this is a rule at AMC, and this is very sad to talk about, but there was the shooting that happened during a screening of The Dark Knight Rises. That was at, I believe, an AMC theater in Aurora.
It wasn't.
It was
a Cinemark.
Oh, it was a Cinemark. Well, it was around that time I think they enacted this. If I remember this.
It was.
So
you're right about that.
I understand that there's a precedent for why they would want to say, hey, this needs to be something that we don't allow just to protect everyone's safety. But
the guy that shot up that theater didn't have makeup or anything on. He just looked like a normal everyday guy.
Yeah.
So
what we're saying now is maybe people at AMC should not be allowed to have faces. Period.
Almost.
To remove your eyeballs, leave your mouth and nose at home, come in, listen to the movie, and then go home.
AMC's stifling for a lot of different stuff, and a lot of stuff I didn't agree with when I worked there. Some of the stuff I did, but it's...
Yeah.
This is one thing that I definitely side with everybody else that think that it's stupid. It is.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if I was still working there, I probably would have been fired over that because I would have been like, I'm not telling a 13-year-old girl to wash off her face with mom and dad there, that they're going to literally lay into me, that I can avoid that confrontation easily by just letting it go.
Yeah.
And a 14-year-old girl is not going to hold this up at gunpoint.
Right. And if she does, she's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, yeah. Look, we'd love to hear your thoughts, everybody. Just let us know. Do you think this is a good rule, bad rule, stupid, smart? Or do you think, like, even sometimes when something seems dumb...
Come to Grand Avenue. Like, paint your face up all you want. I don't care.
Yeah, you can be green, blue,
Please.
purple. We appreciate people of all shades of face paint.
Yes.
Well, except the one. I'll let you fill it in for yourself.
Not the camo.
So I have good news.
Okay,
you're going to love this.
Oh, cool.
You're going to love this.
Oh, boy.
Kraven the Hunter, its reported runtime would make it the longest of Sony's Marvel movies, which means there's more of it to love.
I thought it was 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, so apparently Madam Web was 116 minutes. This is 127.
So it's 2 hours and 7 minutes.
2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah, I already knew that.
So yeah, it's apparently...
And you're still going to make me go watch this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're not opening it.
You made me watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This is my penance for that?
This is your penance.
But both of us watched The Crow.
Yeah, and so we're on uneven ground now because we both saw The Crow. We were on even ground. Okay. Then we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and since then I've not forced you to do anything. Well, I did get you to watch Little Italy, but that was an accident. I just dared you to.
I took you seriously when I shouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly. What if you'd never taken me seriously before? I didn't expect it to start then.
Movie challenges I take very seriously because.
Have you seen Monster Trucks?
Yes.
Okay, well, never mind then. That movie's real bad, but Thomas Lennon is chewing scenery, and that's fun.
It's got to be the same makers as Aliens in the Attic because, like, I almost lumped both of those films together.
Yeah, well, Monster Trucks, I know for sure, was the producer's 4-year-old son had the idea. And he said, let's make a movie out of it. And I just think that at the very least, that's very cute. You know, he took a swing for his 4-year-old. That's great. Okay. And his 4-year-old was probably too old to think the idea was any fun by the time they finished the movie. Would have been 7 by the time they went through the whole process.
It's a good thing I'm not in that position. God knows what Drew would make me put on screen.
If 2.
Trap 2.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now that the Venom franchise is wrapped up, Sony, they need something that's going to actually be successful, especially according to Joe Blow. They're talking about this.
Even the film buyers don't think Craven's going to do anything.
Well, Craven the Hunter director J.C. Chander was recently asked if he worried about the bad reputation of the franchise and if it would impact his film. He said, I don't want to get too into the nitty-gritty of it, but here's what I would say. For me as a filmmaker, my number one goal, especially, quite frankly, over the last couple of years where you guys are deep in this world, some of the fans out there, a lot of the fans, were upset with certain decisions and certain outcomes of Sony's Spider-Man universe. Then with other films, they've gone on to be tremendous successes. So there's been a mixed success rate. People have got to give us a chance and come out and support this film and literally try to wash away some of the other stuff that's happened. Give our film a chance.
That's hard. You're asking a lot, especially when you're putting that up against Morbius and Madam Web.
I know, but
just 2 cinematic wastes of time.
Look, for a while, I've been jokingly like the biggest supporter of this film just because I thought it was funny. But genuinely, hearing him say that like makes me go, maybe. And I mean, it's not going to be good. I'm pretty sure, but maybe he's trying to do something.
I want to support, Russell Crowe, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Sure.
Action film, definitely. It's already got like 3 strikes against it without even seeing frame 1 of the film. It's been pushed around for over a year. It's Sony's Marvel division that does not have a good track record.
Nope.
And it's another R-rated comic book film that may or may not need to be R-rated. And it just...
Most of the time, I would say it doesn't need to, but Craven the Hunter is literally, he hunts people, so like that makes sense.
You could do that and still have it as a PG-13 rating, I think.
Sure, but would it be as much fun? I mean, think about...
Probably not.
Think about Borderlands, for instance. Would have been more fun if they had kept it as an R-rated
film. Eli
film.
Roth is in charge of that, so even if it was R-rated, it still would have sucked.
Sure, it would have been bad either way, but at least someone would have splattered. And that
wouldn't have made the film any more interesting, trust me.
As a man, at least I would have been like, cool.
I will go see it with you.
I'm sorry, but we have to.
Okay.
We've built it up so much.
Okay, just like when I was talking with our film buyers about, this place and looking at what we had to deal with for December, it was very easy to say to cut the film though.
Yeah.
And not play it here, especially 6 screens is now the new 2 screen.
Right, yeah.
And I've run both of them now, so it's a very easy decision to say, no, it's just not worth it. Especially when you got the Lord of the Rings anime thing and you got to run it for 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks is a long time.
2.5 hour anime film with Lord of the Rings, that's a huge gamble.
That is.
And Warner Brothers did it on purpose. So
3 weeks is that's most things are like 2 weeks is what you have to do for most
the industry
titles.
Standard mostly is 2 weeks, and then after that it's based on grosses from Friday night to Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're in for 3 weeks of War of the Rohirrim, so just buckle down, everybody. Come out and check it out. Look, most of the time, I'm not like a big anime fan, but like my wife and I are rewatching the Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the live action, any of it, but
the animated series,
the animated series, and it's really good. And you know, like anime can be a little goofy sometimes and whatever, but like one of the things I will say about anime is that every shot is like maximum drama, and that's what's fun about it. Like it really is. You know, everything is it's skewed just enough from like how you would view certain things in real life that they can kind of get an idea across in a way that I
got into a little bit. Like I previewed when I worked for Flicks Jujutsu Kaisen. Mm-hmm, yeah. And it turned out to be an origin story, and I liked the movie so much I went back and watched the series.
Yeah,
because you know, definitely demons, monsters, you know, and martial arts. It's all kind of things that you know appeals to the 10-year-old boy to me watching Godzilla films on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, that's cool. And then there was another one that they showed called Bell. That's actually pretty good too.
Bell.
It's hard to describe what it is, but it's
anime.
Yeah, it's pretty good though.
Yeah,
it wasn't boring.
Yeah,
it wasn't Moana too.
Sorry, Maria. Ridley Scott says that Gladiator 3 is basically being inspired by the Godfather saga.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? Because Godfather Part 3 historically lambasted.
Well,
pretty much.
I seem to be the only person that likes it.
Okay. Yeah.
Solely because if you have like all day to watch three films back to back, because each of them is at least 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
So the third one is the final saga for Michael Corleone. It's with him getting older. It's with him potentially like trying to get out of organized crime and lead a legitimate life, getting into a deal that's potentially going to make the Corleone family legitimate with the Vatican. And of course, it all goes to hell.
Yeah.
And he ends up back where he started. And it shows that it's almost impossible to get out of this lifestyle once you're in. The only way to get out of it is death. And that's the pervading theme through the third one. Nixing Sofia Coppola out of that, who, by the way, better director than an actress.
Yeah.
And you obviously know how she got that role.
Yeah.
It's not a bad film if you look at it in that context. I still like the film. Yeah. I do.
I think people just really harsh on it because of Sofia Coppola.
Yeah,
like, I think
that's all that anybody ever remembers. They don't remember Michael growing old, or even bringing back Diane Keaton from the original one, and going with that storyline about how they're almost kind of trying to reconcile, or even the part that the priest asks Michael Corleone, "Do you want to have confession?" And it's like, that's a movie all unto itself. Yeah, I killed my brother. You know,
one priest after another going, "Hold on, I got to get help. Hold on, we need more prayer power here."
So there's a lot to that film that just gets overlooked because of her.
Sure, yeah. Well, for Gladiator 3, which has not been officially greenlit, again, getting this from Joe Blow News. But Ridley Scott said that there's already an idea. I always had this idea that The Godfather ends with Michael not wanting the job. He sits there and there's this pushing on Al. He's already had his hand kissed. He's betrayed his wife with lies. Lucius isn't quite that evil at all. He's wondering, "Father, what do I do?" Paul not wanting the job is a great place to start. So I think that is kind of where the last one leaves off.
Yeah, I'm already interested.
Yeah, but like, he can't be a gladiator again.
Can they bring sharks and rhinos back into this and really piss off the historians again?
I hope that the sharks are riding rhinos. Now that's a movie.
There you go.
But yeah, Paul Mescal said he's massively down for Gladiator 3, but hopes it won't be another quarter century until we get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ridley Scott's 86, so that's
he
not
better get
happening.
moving.
But yeah, no, I definitely would be interested to see a Gladiator 3, whether they shoot it coverage style or regular movie style.
Even if they do it as a miniseries for, say, Paramount Plus, I'd still watch it.
Sure, yeah. I just like that world, and I like the telling of the Roman stories. And my mom, when we were in, because I was homeschooled for a good portion of my life, can you tell? We spent years studying Rome, because it is basically this. It's so big you can't cover it, in a year of school.
Oh yeah.
And also it is something that you can see it's not the template, but it is basically a very good like starting place to go like, this is how empires rise and fall. And it does it in a way that is more widely documented than or in a time that was more widely documented, I should say. So you learn a lot about the world and humanity and how pride, brings down nations.
Well, it's Nazi Germany took the pattern from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And look how that worked out for them.
There was a series for HBO too called Rome that I think was like 2 seasons.
Oh yeah.
And the first season was Caesar, and that first season ended was Caesar's assassination.
Right.
And then kind of the second season is recouping from all that and kind of rebuilding. If you haven't seen that, it's really good.
Okay, it's HBO. You said,
yeah.
I'm fascinated by Roman times and history. So, yeah. Fly Me to the Moon is going to be on Apple TV next month. How do you feel about that?
So,
that's how everyone feels. Apparently, I want to see it, but I don't know if it's going to be.
I guess I shouldn't. I kind of want to see it too. I heard some good things about it. We screwed up here by playing that instead of Long Legs. I think we would have been better off going with that, but we went with kind of the safer option.
Sure.
But it didn't do well
because it was only here for
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah,
and it was gone.
And that was while we were doing this show, and I still didn't get a chance to see it. So, I don't know. All right. Well, I think that should bring us to the end of the news. Not a lot of stuff going on this week that was worth noting. A lot more TV news, but we don't cover that because
it doesn't matter.
We don't have time. We can't keep up with 14 shows all going on at the same time. It doesn't matter. I have to rewatch Avatar with my wife. So, all righty. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks again to Maria for joining us today.
Thank you, Maria.
And bringing a little bit of perspective to our grumpy old attitudes. 10 out of 10, she said. We'll get another tattoo. Which, I mean, marking your body permanently is quite high praise.
I'm holding her to that, too.
Every day she comes in and just be like, where's the tattoo?
Where is it?
You put it out on the internet. You're committed now.
But then she'll be like, well, I work for you. I don't make any money.
And you'd be like, I don't care if you get in a back alley. Just do it.
Yeah, I do care about that.
Yeah, I know. I spoke out of turn. Maybe I'll go get a tattoo across my forehead that says ding dong.
Damn fool. Because I always make the joke that's what I should get across my forehead.
It's prime real estate, like this is unmarred by the needles so far. But
me too. I only got one.
On your forehead?
No.
It's invisible.
It's on my shoulder.
Oh. I just had the tramp stamp.
Oh.
Thanks for listening, everybody. No, it's not. You can find us online, Instagram and Facebook at Grand Review Pod. Let us know what you thought about Moana 2. Good, bad, great, or terrible. Let us know what you thought. And share the podcast with your friends. Leave a review if you can. Helps us out tremendously. All righty. Well, I guess that means there's only one thing left to do, Andy, and that is to say, we'll see you at the movies. Bye, everybody.
Take care, y'all.